As the federal government removes the Maybach throne, the ultimate fantasy of the billion-dollar largest ruler has just been brutally destroyed, leaving the whole hip-hop community in full astonishment. When fleet arrays of black-red stamped federal law enforcement vehicles carried out a simultaneous tactical raid on several premium real estate holdings owned by William Leonard Roberts II, better known to the public as Rick Ross, yesterday afternoon, the structural basis of contemporary luxury rap collapsed into complete ruins. This is not a regular tax misunderstanding or a little administrative audit. This is an instant physical seizure and devastating permanent asset freezing carried out by well-coordinated federal task groups. And the horrifying turn of events that has caused elite celebrity circles to cry in sheer terror. According to reports, his most vicious, music, calculation-driven enemy carried out a nuclear-level act of digital sabotage that set off the entire multi-million-dollar structural takedown. Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, music. According to reports, the Ginit General has accomplished the seemingly impossible by leaking a highly secure, unredacted offshore data file that contains the corporate bank accounts and private asset allocations that Ross has meticulously protected behind luxury brands for 20 years. The horrifying sequence of the luxury automobile seizures, the property locks, and the secret, panicked communications case moving between big record label boards were just revealed by an unknown high-level source working in the financial crime section. For the next several minutes, stay tuned as we dissect the concealed monitoring information, the precise time the federal agents broke through the gates of the promised land giant house, and the disastrous legal trap that has permanently locked the boss persona. You can't afford to take a single, fleeting glance away. You must examine the vast, decades-long psychological warfare that initiated this financial trap in order to properly appreciate the scope of the utter structural annihilation currently taking place throughout the nation. Rick Ross and 50 Cent have been embroiled in the most costly, intensely personal, and poisonous feud in the history of the music industry for more than 17 years. However, this conflict has always been waged inside the high-stakes economy of public image, business credibility, and real-world asset measures, whereas other rap feuds only exist on audio tracks and viral videos. Backstage at the BET Hip Hop Awards in 2008, a casual gaze developed into an outright declaration of war, sparking the bout. In early 2009, Ross started a verbal assault with the song Mafia Music, trying to portray himself as an ultra-wealthy, untouchable drug king in control of Miami's ports. However, 50 Cent wrote more than simply a counterverse. He underwent total surgery. The world learned that Rick Ross was actually William Roberts, a former correctional officer who had spent years working inside a state prison institution. After the Gunnet leader retrieved official Florida Department of Corrections paperwork in a matter of weeks, he gave him the poisonous moniker Officer Ricky, which was intended to destroy his street reputation forever. That exposure would have been a complete career execution for any other musician in any other age. However, Rick Ross accomplished something amazing. Music. He resisted passing away. By establishing Maybach Music Group as an empire, signing big names like Meek Mill and Whale, and transforming his lifestyle brand into actual money, he furthered the luxury narrative. Music. Ross bought a massive 109-room mansion in Fayetteville, Georgia, known as the Promised Land, to demonstrate his financial superiority over 50 Cent ironically. The estate had been repossessed from boxing legend Vander Holyfield after its enormous $500,000 yearly maintenance costs bankrupted him. Ross recorded himself lounging by the pool, showing off diamond-encrusted jewelry, and boasting about his enormous collection of exotic antique cars, using the home as a visual shield. 50 Cent, however, never let go of the throat. Music. Despite 50 Cent's severe legal setbacks, including the notorious 2015 ruling that required him to pay $7 million to the mother of Ross' kid, which led to 50 Cent's well-reported Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing, the Gunnet General only planned his retaliation through the judicial system. For years, Ross made fun of 50 Cent's bankruptcy, alleging in public that his legal team had seen 50 Cent's bank records during the discovery phase and felt terrible for him. Curtis Jackson, however, was engaged in a more riskier game. He clears throat, developed a large media empire, acquired a wealthy residence in Las Vegas, and rebuilt his riches through the massive Power television universe. By 2026, 50 Cent had begun an unrelenting campaign to destroy Ross's reputation as a billionaire, item by item. He publicly attacked Ross on Instagram for mowing his own grass to save money on staff, made fun of him for being a mere special guest on the Millennium Tour, and notably mailed him $40,000 as a public insult when pictures of the MMG chief waiting to board a commercial aircraft went viral. For months, the strain within Ross's business circle had been mounting like a white-hot pressure cooker. Music, the commercial aircraft memes, and the lawnmower jokes were dismissed by the public as typical celebrity banter. They were totally unaware that 50 Cent was carefully and aggressively luring Ross into a high-stakes financial trap with his vast media capabilities. When the federal government crossed the property borders yesterday to deprive the boss of his empire, the trap totally snapped shut. At precisely 1:14 p.m., the devastating detonation burst over the digital world. Yesterday afternoon, resulting in a sudden halt to social media activity. Music. It all began when 50 Cent calmly presented a high-resolution red-stamped bank ledger straight to the camera during a widely shared private media show. There were no typical firm performance charts in the ledger. It described an intricate web of unlisted corporate bank accounts, covert offshore holdings in the Cayman Islands, and encrypted transaction streams registered under many William Roberts-owned shell businesses. 50 Cent delivered a brutally cold punchline while looking directly into the eyes of the public. "Ricky, you spent 10 years discussing my bankruptcy papers." Music. You told everyone that you felt sorry for me after looking at my accounts. "My team recently uncovered your actual ledgers from the dark web. The land that was promised is not an asset. The government just obtained the master keys to this multi-million-dollar shell game. When the federal government changes the gates locks, we'll see how much grass you can cut." Before big hip-hop trade publications could even write a reaction headline, the internet broadcast went viral in a matter of minutes, garnering an astounding 4 million views. The industry's response was utterly terrifying. This was neither a photoshopped meme nor a typical rapist. Highly sensitive financial tracking numbers that the public was never authorized to view were loudly made public. Then, however, this whole growing catastrophe took a genuinely startling and disastrous turn. A chain of events that resulted in an instantaneous, complete federal execution from a complicated PR disaster. The main entry gates of the 300-acre promised land estate in Georgia were overrun by a fleet of high-security federal law enforcement vehicles carrying armed agents from the Internal Revenue Service and Criminal Investigation Divisions less than 2 hours after the unredacted bank records appeared online. Tactical actions were launched simultaneously targeting Ross's opulent automobile storage units in Florida and his premium hangar facility at Miami Opalica Airport. The horrifying high-adrenaline terror was promptly captured on camera by eyewitnesses at the site. While official court enforcers started methodically placing bright yellow-red music, branded by federal order seals on the Mammoth Mansion's glass doors, the shaky cell phone film depicts federal authorities erecting heavy-duty physical barriers across the private road. The area resounded like a siren as enormous flatbed tow trucks roared up the private route to forcefully take Ross' multi-million-dollar collection of modified antique automobiles and exotic vehicles. In an instant, the story had grown beyond a typical hip-hop quarrel. It was the complete, unadulterated dissolution of a famous person's body. However, an underground legal reporter discovered a highly precise, terrifying detail hidden in the official federal asset seizure notice put on the estate's front gate as the video footage of the car seizures inundated the internet. Standard corporate debt or an ongoing tax examination did not cause the asset freeze. The federal government has proceeded with an emergency civil asset forfeiture case under a very limited federal provision, according to the red-stamped court documents. A law that only comes into play when the corporate bank records of an organization fit the particular transaction patterns of an ongoing international money laundering investigation. The insight was like a thunderbolt to the culture. It wasn't just a poor trolling week for Rick Ross. The US government was treating his entire multi-million-dollar enterprise like a crime scene. The simultaneous government raids caused music absolute ramifications that extended beyond the boundaries of the Georgian countryside. Music, the whole global media ecosystem, had become a full-fledged battlefield by midnight. A staggering 12 million searches were generated by the trending tags #RossAssetsSeized, music, #50CentLeaks, and #Thepromism land raided as fans and media pundits desperately tried to confirm whether the biggest boss had truly been placed under physical custody. Then followed the second totally unanticipated turn of events that made this seizure of government assets an absolute emergency for large worldwide business brands. Music, the parent company managing the distribution and licensing for Ross' numerous fast food franchise locations, had quietly and aggressively issued a unilateral brand termination notice in the 4 hours immediately following the federal raid. According to a rapid series of verified corporate registry updates published by a verified, highly respected corporate intelligence account on X. Before the federal asset freeze could legally jeopardize their own commercial banking channels, the corporate board was working feverishly to fully separate Ross' name from their mainstream brand. The connotation was unmistakable, horrifying, and music. In the dark, Ross was methodically unplugging the real-world income engines that produced the actual funds needed to sustain his millionaire lifestyle. A well-known mainstream entertainment news network claimed to have gotten an anonymous tip from an inside circle source near the Gunnet General's media camp within minutes of this corporate reveal. A catastrophic secondary bombshell was dropped by the insider. Music, according to reports, the 50 Cent tech team obtained the unredacted digital information from a hacked offshore financial server months ago. Therefore, the recent bank record leak was only the first strategic step. According to reports, the complete digital file includes explicit details of multi-million-dollar wire payments that connect Ross' secret company ledger to well-known Hollywood elites and international athletes. The response from the most prestigious venues in the entertainment industry quickly erupted into public discourse. Speaking to a major entertainment magazine under stringent circumstances of complete secrecy, a well-known talent agency executive vehemently denounced 50 Cent's aggressive methods, calling them a risky and unprecedented execution of the celebrity industry. Music, Curtis Jackson's actions yesterday went beyond a mere personal jab at a competitor. The economic foundations of contemporary hip-hop culture are being methodically and deliberately destroyed. He has purposefully caused an emergency federal asset seizure on a worldwide scale by employing an unapproved bank record leak, which has resulted in rapid and catastrophic harm to international talent contracts, fast food chains, and corporate sponsorships. Music, the executive said, if the courts don't step in to freeze this distribution, the entire luxury rap economy is going to completely collapse by the end of the week, their comments brimming with sheer, unadulterated fear. However, the digital momentum proved inexorable. Early this morning, a series of extremely agitated and terrified text messages purportedly written between a high-ranking record label president and a famed Southern producer were published by an underground celebrity news network. The A-list community's genuine level of utter desperation was revealed by the text chain's music, full of frenzied punctuation and terrified business jargon. The whole offshore ledger from the Cayman accounts is in his possession. The corporate offices are yanking all of the franchise contracts in order to rescue themselves, and the feds have entirely locked down Ross's assets. Our whole distribution network will be subject to a federal sweep if 50 removes the next section of the database that displays the foreign wire transactions. Before the morning news cycle begins, we must remove his name entirely from the next record credits. Officially, the story had gotten out of hand. Music, the most violent credibility and financial crisis that modern hip-hop has ever seen, had been effectively sparked by the covert bank record release. The public throughout the world was no longer content to wait for a typical social media response. They were seeing the live digital execution of a multi-million-dollar empire in which the hunter had complete control over dissemination. The enormous weight of this developing historical catastrophe has caused the worldwide hip-hop community, the commercial sector, and the larger international media landscape to entirely violently split apart. With over 20 million people actively participating in intense, never-ending conversations over the complete annihilation of the Big Boss character, social media timelines have turned into an outright digital war. Music, on one side, the net general is being hailed as the ultimate cultural executioner by a sizable and fervent fan base. In an industry known for concealing its true financial vulnerabilities, music behind pricey public. Relation styling, rented luxury assets, and superficial image framing for the past 15 years, they see the 50 Cent leak as a historic, long-awaited victory for absolute truth and transparency. 50 Cent just took action that the media and banks have been afraid to take for decades. With just one unredacted financial receipt, he defeated the loudest boss in hip-hop history. He completely destroyed the delusion of the rich lifestyle. Give this man a Lifetime Achievement Award today. In less than 3 hours, a post became popular on XRE and received over 100,000 reposts. On the other hand, Ross's enormous worldwide fan following, music, heritage artist managers, and an increasingly outspoken set of industry traditionalists are waging a fierce, coordinated pushback against the leak. For the sole purpose of increasing streaming metrics, music, algorithm numbers, and global digital clout, they contend that 50 Cent is actively stepping over a risky, malevolent moral and professional line by using unauthorized private banking assets to publicly destroy a man's entire business infrastructure, freeze his personal life, and jeopardize his legendary musical legacy. The major players in the industry are trapped in a terrible silent crossfire because they are so afraid of saying the wrong thing in public or choosing a side that may ruin their own business connections. In an effort to precisely predict the precise legal and financial consequences of the impending asset forfeiture trial, well-known podcasters and media pundits are devoting hours to analyzing every line of the compromised financial spreadsheets. DJ academics broke out the overwhelming catastrophic scope of the impending industry meltdown in front of an audience of over 400,000 concurrent watchers. The level of historical math that is currently going on behind the scenes is beyond your comprehension. This isn't your typical rap feud over a song or a line. This is the actual disintegration of one of the largest autonomous infrastructure systems in the culture's history. The MMG brand will be obsolete in 48 hours if the federal government entirely locks down his personal property, closes his airport hangars, and the corporate offices revoke the franchise license. The labels are in a frenzy. The banks are in a frenzy. Academics angrily slammed his palms down on his streaming desk and said, "No one on the A-list is safe in 2026. Cultural critics are aggressively and viciously re-examining even the unwritten norms of the rap scene. The dynamic of hip-hop conflict has been successfully altered by 50 Cent, according to commentary outlets. He can now destroy his old foes without going into a recording studio to produce a diss tune. He merely allows the federal asset seizure teams to do him irreversible physical harm by leaking a tangible, time-stamped financial record. When the old guard realizes that the culture's norms of interaction have irreversibly altered, it shakes its head in shock. Precisely at 2:30 p.m. Legal experts, business attorneys, and Wall Street observers are utterly stunned by this afternoon's abrupt change of the whole historical narrative into a third, entirely unprecedented direction. An extremely private internal audit report was leaked to a well-known worldwide financial news network by a senior corporate compliance officer employed by a prestigious multinational banking syndicate. The huge unredacted offshore bank files that 50 Cent exhibited yesterday afternoon were not retrieved from the dark web by his team, according to the audit report with the highest level of government security marks. The amazing, horrifying music reality. The full offshore financial database was discreetly and painstakingly assembled and given to federal authorities more than 8 months ago in late 2025, long before the bank records ever appeared on the public internet timeline. According to the digital metadata on the official company files. Carefully let that sink in. This indicates that 50 Cent's Instagram post did not lead the federal government to start the asset seizure yesterday afternoon. The information really suggests a far more complex, high-stakes business partnership. A growing number of legal experts are now publicly speculating that the 50 Cent's media production syndicate had been working covertly in tandem with federal financial intelligence units, music, strategically using his enormous public platform to entice Ross into disclosing his wealth in order to carry out a prearranged asset freeze with complete legal immunity. However, this is the last and most terrifying information that was revealed only minutes ago. A discovery that fundamentally alters the worldwide investigation stakes. Music.